So, just recapping. Oh, man. This is my life. And after all this black stuff, my head got blown up by others. And all of a sudden, I get this inkling to write this person who I have just been enamored with, to say the least, since we first met probably 30 years ago. This is 2008. So yeah, 78. 30 years. 30 years. I get the inkling to call her up, or at least try and find her, and send this letter saying, you have been an extremely important person in my life. And do we need to be reminded who that person is? Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the letter. There. And it's like, what? We barely lived through the first page of, the psychosis. It's like walking through concrete psychosis where your feet are just dragging through to get through the letter. But the thing is, I am going to incorporate, or I'm going to do this for several reasons. I have not looked this over. It triggers a response, and it brings back things I would have never thought about. And then the other is, catches me off guard, and when I was telling the story about Madison and the move there, I've only talked in one other video of the whole thing with Madison and Ray, so I don't know, whatever. I would have never talked about how that company was kind of looking at me funny when, was I in a bad way? I was in a bad way. I hated everything. I would have liked the job, but the circumstances were way over the top, because I was convinced by others that my job at CTL was bad and people were taking advantage of me. And even if they were, I still loved that job. But Jane felt like it was unfair for her to have quit a job down in Indy and to all of a sudden get uprooted. And I come home going, oh, CTL, yay! It's like, feel my pain. Anyway, oh, God. So did I get through that? I got that. So I'm name dropping on this poor girl about saying how, but I know I did it as like I'm established, and hey, I'm saying, hey, let's take a bigger look at this guy, because he looks like he's got his act together. Yeah. Anyway, in fact, now that I mention it, the president thing. Okay. Yeah, so, see, that's how one story can kind of tie everything together. When I left for that job in Madison, CTL had fired the previous president, and they hired the guy who ran and was president. Well, I guess presidents run things. He was president of our biggest competitor. And there's only two. It's like Burger King and McDonald's. CTL and Wis Janie Elsner. And we were the Burger King of that formula. And we probably produced crap, but it was quality crap. And it tasted different from the pre-manufactured crap. No, that's terrible. I love my job. I love the people. Anyway, bad analogy. But there were only two. And, well, there were others. But world-renowned, there were two. Yeah, I'm probably biased in that opinion. But anyway, so the president comes in, and it's the fox running the chicken house. Literally. Oh, God. So then he just had his way of doing things, and let's just do this. Wow, I thought he would have had more photos. But this is him. That's him. And that little fireball and I just didn't see eye to eye. Because let's look at his stat. Let's do this. Hold on. Wow, this is his company thing, but it doesn't have previous jobs. Yeah, we clashed. And I was out in Seattle. Hold on. He was a Stanford Cornell guy. Ah! Here we go. Here we go. So you saw the picture. Why can't I go down? There we go. So now he's a senior principal. This is, wow, 17 years. Holy smokes. Oh, what happened? Oh, I thought he'd have more. Oh, I didn't know he's a professor. When I was there, briefly. I didn't know that. Yeah. So he was president June 91. That was when June 8th was the wedding. Oh, it all ties together without my evidence. I mean, I'm providing it, but it's by others. Yeah, June. Wow, that's funny. So now he's a senior principal. Oh, I thought he was the president there. Well, he was, oh, okay. He was the manager of the evaluation group, which was the same as Hans. And when Dr. Frazak came to CTL, he just hated Hans because Hans was an effective manager. But Hans wasn't billable and everything else because Hans was a manager. And Dr. Frazak had his little opinion on the way managers are, and it just didn't work between us. They got a 4-pager, and so did the board of directors, and well, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, so yeah, the 2 o'clock in the morning phone call was I was out in Seattle, and then I'm bouncing back and forth between Chicago and Seattle because I've got commitments in the Pacific Northwest. I've got responsibilities and ongoing jobs in Chicago because summer construction season's kicking in. And I was overseeing a lot of the repairs. So I'm bouncing back and forth, and it was getting to be a little bit much. And my boss in Seattle was Bill Chahansky, and he just was very passive, we'll put it that way. And I think way more was going on than he led on, but I was a little yappy, impatient boy. And I'd say, you know, is Dr. Frazak made up his mind where he's going to put me? Am I going to be transferred? Am I going back to Chicago? What's going on? And this went on for weeks and weeks and weeks. Back into May. I mean, construction starts in March. So I'm getting strung out with all this travel back and forth. And I never did travel miles with an airline because it just wasn't worth it. Because you start accommodating other schedules, and no. I had enough frequent flyer mileage on about 2 or 3 to get me, but I never kept up with it. Anyway, not the point. So I'm bouncing back and forth. And finally, I had enough because Bill kept saying, no, John's supposed to get back with us this week. Nothing would happen the next week. Is anything going to, what's going on? Am I in Chicago or back here? I've got to go back because I have to, project meetings kicking off. Okay, do what you have to do. They paid for it. They didn't care. They paid for it. They paid for it. Bill Chahansky kept that office alive, but I was his kidney. He had 1 kidney, and I was his only kidney that kept that office going. Otherwise, Bill would have had to go on dialysis. But he kept it alive. Don't let me but I was part of that unit. And as soon as I got pulled back, they pulled the plug on the office. Not because of me. Not because of me by any means. Frazak hated Bill, hated the office, because it wasn't run like he thought it should have been. So he pulled the plug. CTL lost his presence in Seattle, Pacific Northwest. And you know what? McDonald's was the only fast food place that whole community went to for their little concrete evaluations and such. So shame on you, Dr. Frazak. I have no problem ragging on you, buddy. I'll tell you a good story later on when I found out how much he did respect me, which was astounding. But I'm not going to, I got to save that nugget for another time. But yeah, so I called him up. Oh, finish the story. I got tired of, he'll get back with us this week, and then next week, and then this. So I got ticked off one day, and at 2 a.m, I called him up, and I knew he wasn't there, but I just berated him on the phone. And I guess that left a few tidal waves, so I hear. Anyway, come in the next day, Bill Chahansky goes, "What are you doing leaving phone messages on John Frizak's office or phone mail at 2 a.m? I said, "I don't know. Bill, let's go back to this letter." "Oh, we've just got so much more fun. This is getting fun now. I get to talk about some, and I think that's what I'm doing this letter is I'm releasing some angst I still have with certain people. Oh, man. Yeah, but so he got fired in 99, but the damage was done at CTL. Now, wait a minute. Is that what I said? 99? Wow. And this is me thinking like, well, you dark, you could have looked there and act surprised. No. August 99, he was, wow. This guy's got a steel trap for a memory. More like steel wool. Okay, no shtick. I hate shtick. So, yeah. Anyway, I had 13 years of the best time working with some of the best people in the industry. Aw. CTL was truly a family organization. I was like, you know what? Anyway, I had 13 years of the best time in the thing. Go. And, okay, that's shtick. Although they had a jerk at the helm for many years. See, I'm like, no one's going to push this guy around. She's going to go, ooh, he's tough. He's tough when he needs to be. But he's such a pussycat when it's down to it. No, about half that. Anyway, like I said, he pretty much tried to destroy a friendly setting and business integrity of the group, created internal competition and discord amongst staff, and succeeded in many aspects, and forced a corporate attitude into the family business. Needless to say, we didn't get along, and every year when bonuses were distributed, I paid the price. Not to mention my salary freeze a couple times. Not to mention my salary freeze a couple times. Oh yeah, it's proper. I just didn't say it right. So yeah, well, I'm just going to do that story. So one day, we send out these little performance reviews. You sit down, what do you think you're worth? And it's like, no, you're not. Come back to reality. You're not worth that much. No, you don't part water. Or they'd be like me. And it's just like, I don't deserve anything. I'm just glad to work here. Anyway, so I kind of refused to sign or to really engage in this performance review analysis of myself and justify why I felt I deserved a bonus at the end of the year. I mean, okay, I get the performance review for your job, but we were to write why we deserve any piece of the pie at the end of the year if CTL made money. And that's what I said, look, if you don't know what I'm doing, then don't give me anything. And I wrote that. And I might have that because I'm finding all this weird stuff. But I wrote it. And nothing was said. People knew how I was about that. I said, why do I need to grovel about what I do? Look at my billable time. Look at my time cards. That tells you how busy I am and if I'm effective or not. And so time went on, and I ended up getting, it was 99, and I ended up getting my bonus check. It was the year he left. And I had been on the skids with so many bad things. And John Frizak sent me a get well card one time after surgery. Huh? Figure that out. But I was a thorn of thorns. And anyway, so came around, bonus checks went out, and I got the highest amount you could get. And it, you know, it was like 0% up to X amount of your salary. You know, don't expect anything more than that. Because CTL was still held hostage to PCA. And whatever they made, I mean, they were in such debt that, and that's why the presidents got kicked out before. Or not kicked out, they just had bad yearly, finances. But it's all juggling numbers. But Zach came in there and, started, according to him, turning things around, but just being the mean guy. Anyway, so I got this check, and it was the highest amount we were allowed. And it just absolutely blew me away. So one day, I'm coming in the back door. Oh, no. I'm upstairs in the copy room, and I leave the copy room and come down the hall. Let's do this. Now I got a thing, because So the copy room was right upstairs. This is the first floor. Pretend that's the copy room. I leave the copy room. Dr. John's walking down the hallway. We intersect. And as soon as I come out, he's right there. It's like, you just pulled into his lane. You got to commit. And so we're going down the hallway together. And I'm like, hey, John, how's it going? And he goes, fine. He goes, so did you get your bonus check? I go, I did. He goes, were you surprised? I go, John, when my key fits the back door, I'm surprised. And he had the biggest grin on his face when I said that, because I don't know where I came up with that. I mean, I'm trying jokey, but man, I just pulled that out of my rear. If my key fits, I'm surprised. So yeah, it was like 7,000, between 6. It wasn't 8, between 6 and 7,000. Oh my God, I think it was like 5%. I don't know what the numbers are. When I left there, I was still making low 50s. Anyway, we're not talking about salary. But oh yeah, John for Zach. So anyway, I felt it was important to, let's recap that. So before page 2 is even completed, I've told Jill all about my backup sewers and that I'm a tough guy. It doesn't even say I'm fair. It just says I don't like the guy. He's a jerk. Oh, God. Anyway. Editor's note. Now, at this time, there must be a transitional point. See, I say segue now. I didn't know how to spell segue back then. Because it's like segue is S-E-G-W way. And it's like segui now. That's wrong. Anyway. So now, at this time, there must be a transitional point to move into other aspects of my life, me, to explain the morphing from CTL to more current events. Oh yeah, I remember some stuff. Does this not seem like the Andrea letter? Andra letter. Oh, Andra letter. I gotta settle down. I'm getting all hopped up again. I gotta make a pot of coffee. This is getting kind of fun. Oh, it's warm today. Oh, summer's finally here. Anyway, editor's notes. What was I saying? Oh, I got time out. Wow, that was a feral squirrel attack. I blinked and then I couldn't remember what I was talking about. Anyway, if you may recall, there appeared to be this unhealthy affection I had with knee surgery and the apparent growing number of orthopedic adventures. Well, let's just say I didn't know when to quit until my primary healthcare provider went bankrupt. Okay, kidding aside, I plunked down on a hospital bed in 89, 93, and 2 times in 95 for the knees. For the record, that made a total of 12. 6 right legs, 6 left. I call it my fair and balanced medical abuse plan. Ha ha. Oh, God. I don't even think that's right. I think it's 5 and 7. So I always thought one leg was worse than the other, but who's to think? Or who's to know? Unfortunately, after traveling about 85% of the time doing field studies in 93, led to my back giving out in January 94. Oh, that's true. If you saw my travel schedule in 93, it was insane. In 93 was when I was out in Seattle in September. It was going nuts. I was in New York for 8.5 weeks in the summer. Oh, summer 93 in Manhattan. Oh, my God. It's a great... That's Cliff Eats Rat Soup story. Okay. Keep going, keep going. Don't fall to the concrete psychosis. Unfortunately, after traveling about... I already said that. Long story short, herniated disc, degenerative disc disease, the medical world will call anything a disease just to give a name to something they can't fix. Caused me to have surgery and spinal fusions in 94, twice. 97 and finally in 2000 when I had anterior and posterior fusion. I go from the back side, then gut me like a carp from the front side to complete the fusion. Of course, and I don't count that as 2 surgeries, people. Just so you know, I'm a numbers guy, but not petty numbers. Of course, my reigning Mr. Beach satire suffered at times, and I regretfully stepped down in 03. Oh, God. Oh, it's cringeworthy. Now, as you may wonder, can you imagine the poor look on this woman? She gets this letter and starts reading it and goes, "What? Oh, I think I am mentally ill. Oh, this is bad." Now, you may wonder, how could he do all that field work with crappy knees and back? See, oh, God, why right hand? Yeah, just, dude, man. Then what was the other thing? I was got, yeah, fair balance. It's like, no, gah, never write that now. Anyway, we can't do that. Okay. How did he continue skiing and racing on sailboats in this condition? The answer is quite simple. I have constructed my own very personal stunt double, my super secret Bozo the Clone identity. Oh my God. Oh, it hurts. Now seriously, I have hereditarily mutated my genetic structure and spliced myself with a giant gnome, Gnami, to create an oversized dwarf-like image of myself. Oh, there you go, Brian. There you go, you stud muffin. Woo her with brilliance. Oh, God. You wordsmith. Now you know what I did during recovery each time. It takes lots of glue and Wisconsin chrome, duct tape, mixed in with some fleshy bits, and voila, clone Brian. Although he goes by Brain. He looks exactly like George Clooney these days, and we really are difficult to tell apart. Oh my God. Bad decision to read this. That note was from Satan, saying to read it out loud. Yeah, maybe we pull a plug. See, that's the thing is, you don't know if it's... and that's why I'm doing it, is because I had the inkling to do this. I always said, you cannot not do this. And that's how I've run my life. Jane, you cannot not marry her. Meaning, I have to marry her. Mickey, you cannot not marry her. Meaning, you have to marry her. You cannot, pick the choice. You cannot not sing that person. Because I had to. So, with this letter, there was no option to either write it back then or send it now. And prophetically, so what is this? Hold on. So what do we say? I'm looking for the date. January. So this is 10 years ago and change. Oh my God. And I've changed, baby. Oh man. So 10 years ago I'm writing this nonsense. Oh, that would tell you that. Why did I even call her back? See, I had in my mind that she'd get this and go, wow, that's really nice. You know, no, nothing would ever work out, but it's just nice to, and I thought, oh, that'd be good. But now I'm thinking, oh my God, she probably went to court and restraining orders and, Ooh. Wow. Anyway. Actually, to really tell you the truth, I don't know how or why, but after my 2000 back surgery, have I mentioned that enough times already? I've had surgery quite a bit, which ended my career at CTL. Yeah, she's thinking, yeah, before the president that you ticked off did. Oh my God. I went on a long-term disability and decided to genuinely pursue the writing illustrating interest. I dedicated myself to write the best kids book ever, which I truly think I accomplished to the best of my ability, that is. Yeah, and your ability sucks. Ho! So far, at times life's a little fishy is 0 for 33. I thought it's 32. At designated publishers. But heck, even Harry Potter started off slow in the beginning. And this is before I even knew what Harry Potter, how demonic that was. That I looked at J.D. Rawlings or whatever, J.K. Rawlings or J.D. Pearson or whatever. That I thought, well, if she can be persistent, I can be persistent. Good grief. Even Harry Potter started off slow in the beginning. I wrote that book for my nephew Max as my godfather present to him. Okay, insert your Don Corleone mafioso joke here. I don't think I'm prouder of anything else I've done, but it still resides collecting dust until I figure out how to get it published. Proud of that attempt at literary enthusiasm, but the time I mowed Grad School Sucks on the front lawn of an administrative building in Ann Arbor was a close second. Kidding. But where I'm serious is, I mowed Grad School Sucks on the front lawn of the business graduate building in Lafayette. Let's go look. So, just so we know where we are, there's the Phi Lodge back at Purdue. And there is a picture of this, and I may have tossed it, I don't know. But there's the house, and here was a little patch of yard, and you can see me mowing it with a big cloud of dirt kicking up, and I wrote, Grad School Sucks. Yeah, it was just kind of seemed like the right thing. See, I had that little memo that morning, and yeah, so I felt it was important to write her that I wrote Grad School Sucks, but not in Ann Arbor. Oh, here's the parking lot. Hell Sandwich, church. All right, let's go back. So I wrote a book, and see, I'm just saying, look, I did all this stuff, and I'm still funny. I'm hard-nosed, but I'm fair. I'm just, I can't do my arrow, so, which actually brings me to, no, go away. Go. Oh, maybe we do need that. We do need that. It's just so annoying. Oh, I have to do it, though. Which actually brings me, I sound like, now I'm getting into whining. Okay, Marcus, that was another Marcus Whiteside joke. He said he had a little, like a niece, or, yeah, it's his niece. It says she always mumbled like Berber, and I told him my Berber story. And he goes, yeah, she sounded like an outboard motor, just so So which actually brings me to more present-day activities. I got into yacht racing when I moved to Chicago for CTL in '88. Actually, I got addicted to racing in a heartbeat after answering an ad in the paper. For the next 7 years, I raced on rebound and learned the rudimentary skills of the sport. It was a family-oriented boat. Note the theme here, that I had no idea that it was being chosen for me. Family company, family boat, family company turns into a tyrant company, racing turns from a family into a racing boat. But it was still fun. For the next 7 years, I raced and rebound. I learned the rudimentary skills of the sport. It was a family. Oh, I said that. But they were still serious racers. Mom, dad, daughter, then boyfriend, then husband. Heidi and Jeff. Heidi and Jeff. Daughter, son-in-law sailed around the world between 2000 and 2003. Unbelievable stories are still great friends. The truth of that is, we kind of, well, actually we were. But after Jane and I separated and divorced, Heidi tells me that Jane, when they're sailing around the world 2003, that Heidi and Jeff's family, and both their family kept up with them on their little weekly blogs and stuff. But one of the only other people that did was Jane. And Jane and Heidi had zero in common except for me. And I mean, I could be really mean and say that. No, I won't say it. I won't say it. Keep the course. And stumbling, got to get through. I'm not going to do an edit. But Heidi and Jeff sailed around the world, and Jane was trying to interact with them. But I think the reason Jane was doing that was because I would say nothing about what was going on between Miles and I with Jane. Because one, I knew it was driving her crazy, but two, she just didn't deserve to. She knew the story and did not need to know what was going on after the fact. Anyway, so yeah, that was weird. But going back to Jill, I'm just telling her I've got all these friends and they're sail around. It's like, cool guy, where's this guy been all my life? Oh yeah, I'm about to find out. Or I am finding out. Oh my God, the guy's got sewer problems and fights with his boss, and his boss is probably a nice guy. I bounced around the boats after Rebound retired in '93, but got hooked back into racing hardcore in '99. That's when I was on Caprice. See, it's in the letter, people. It's all coming together. Caprice, and we almost got run over by a freighter. I did tell her. At the conclusion of the Mac race, the world's longest freshwater race. Oh, that is unless I'm navigating. Then it's more like 589 miles. Ha ha, give or take a day. I'm serious about the near collision, though. We are less than 10 feet from getting obliterated. That was a hiccup, not a snort. Upon which I had a life-altering epiphany. See, I even told Jill about my epiphany. I would have done this, though. Jeez, brain of old. Even though I've changed this back, I don't want to... Whatever. So let me see what happens when I do that. Oh, yeah, so it cleans everything. So I can't keep an old document and... good enough. Blah, 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 blah. We were less than 10 feet from getting obliterated, which I had a life-altering epiphany. I changed from wearing briefs to boxers. Now that's true. That's true. Second best decision in my life. And instantly, my life has never been the same. It's kind of like, oh, he's building up to big thing. It's like, no, just change boxers to briefs. I'm what you need, baby. I've got it all.
But I'm disturbed. I'm depressed. I'm inadequate. I got it all.
So yeah, that was appropriate. But instead of inadequate, it was like, I'm adequate. I've got it all. It was like, nah. It was fumbling around. I don't want to change the screen size because I've had the worst time trying to edit these things, and it's getting bad. Where I have to minimize how much edits I do, and otherwise it gets all chopped up, and then you have to stop editing and copy and paste it into another file, and then that doesn't work because the screen is different, and so I'm trying to not mess around too much. But when I was playing around with, give you an update on that. So these came on Monday, and I didn't do what I said I was going to do, so I paid a penalty that not only did I have to reorder, it's the more expensive ones. So I put a little clause on myself because I let it slide today. I picked them up Monday, but I never ordered them yesterday. So we've got that going. And then I've got to make sure that this memo was, if I'm reading it accurately, because I found some stuff and I thought this was a great idea. Now this is a good idea. The other great idea, God probably has me wanting to do it, but I have to really ask hard if I'm sure, because I'm going like we are, just like this. It's game on, but it doesn't mean I have to pull the plug and do it. I can build up, because these are build material type events. So whenever it says pull the plug, then these go, and then the other item goes. And I'm not talking about the other item until I feel comfortable that I'm going to commit to it. I've already committed to this. Done, and done, and done. This is going. But the other one, whoa, that's taking what we did at Elgin High with the packing peanuts. Oh, that's taking it to a whole new level. And, it'd be great. It would be memorable. And this planet would certainly know. But I don't know if I'm... anyway, that little teaser. Let's get back. With respect to racing, I've migrated up the sailing food chain into Section 1 boat. Into a section... take 2. With respect to the racing, I've migrated up the sailing food chain into a Section 1 boat. Raven. Best way to see the competition is to go to boatingshots.com, look up Perf 1 section, where we placed first in 2006. Don't worry, I show her the pictures. We kind of did poor last season, but had lots of personnel changes. So far, I've done 17 MAC races and need 8 more to become an old goat. This process eventually... See how I just kept putting the margin out further than I'd gone this side out, and it was like that? Because I want to get one thought per page. Just the way I do things. And, I'm just like right up to the edge. It's like, oh, that's not even a half inch. That's a half inch. That's not. Gotta say a lot in 10 pages. But some of life's little obstacles have prolonged this process, even recently. Namely, fiberglass impact loads, as I missed the 06 Mac with a broken leg. Forgot about that. 06 Mac with a broken leg when I fell into the hatchway at the beginning of the race. That's true. Fortunately, my stunt double filled in for part of the season, but I still had to go through with the surgery to remove the blood clot. That's true. My Clooney clone took most of the credit for that year, too. Now, let's back up a little bit. I don't want to tell this story, but I have to. When I fell, I did. I broke right below the kneecap. I shattered the... this hurts just looking at it. So here's... Oh, man. That is the most brutal thing I have ever gone through. But look at all this fracture and stuff. That he should have never put this in. Never, never, never. These are screws from an ACL surgery. They put a plug in a new donor tendon. But this bone is so mucked up. And this guy just went in and hack, and chiseled all that out. I'm sorry, but this, look at that. Oh, God, that was painful. And it works so much worse. Well, it's different, but... I would have never done this. And I was going to do both at the same time. But there's a fracture, and I had to draw over it. That's stupid, but you can see the white. Go a little bit closer. See that white? There's a crack there. They come in, whack, whack, whack. Beat it in. Anyway, all this stuff is mucked up. But here's where the... bone graft is. Because they had this little thing that goes out the front. So all this is the only, that's the minimum width. And then all they had was, all this was a filler. I should do a, well, not now, but anyway, what was the point? Oh, so I fell and broke this, but then, oh, that's the catheter. Sorry, that tube was in my leg. Anyway, I wiped out, let's get back to a little bit. And all of a sudden, my leg just ballooned up. And I went down below, and they didn't know me. It was a port-to-port. It was from Waukegan back to Chicago. And I went down back below, and I pounded the booze cabinet down there because it hurt. And I was new to Raven to Raven, and I just went down there, and at the end of the race, they're kind of like, where'd that guy go? Where's Brian? And I came up, and I was drunk like you wouldn't believe. But I said, I wiped out the beginning of the race, and they looked at my leg, and as soon as they called the paramedics, and they took me out, because this thing was, it looked like a compound fracture. It was so swollen. And they took me off the gurney at Chicago Yacht Club, but I'm loaded with vodka. Because whatever, it was like, it was unbearable pain. But I had nothing, there's nothing they could have done except airlift me out. And there was no way they were going to do that. So I went down below. They never missed me. And I curled up and just drank. I barely remember any of it, but whatever it took. And when I came up, Wally looked at me. He goes, "Oh my God!" And yeah, so I went to the ER and they patched me up. Mike, Polish last name, Mike, stayed with me, and I was so drunk. At the ER, I'm blathering on about how my knees got so bad and got into the medical report, and then I was on pain meds. I don't know if I was on pain meds. I was seeing a family doctor to check if I was on pain meds or not. But oh yeah, the ER report was, he was a little bit inebriated when he came in. Then I'd explain to her what happened, and if I was on pain meds, they'd probably do something, but... Oh, I gotta stop. Hold on.